I was packing my dorm essentials in my childhood bedroom 1 week before college started. Acceptance letter to State University taped on my mirror. Engineering major. My dream. I worked hard through high school with good grades and part-time jobs at the hardware store. My parents promised they had been saving for my education since I was born. Everything felt right. Then they called me downstairs for a family meeting. My older brother Derek sat on the couch looking uncomfortable. The living room felt too quiet. Dad cleared his throat. Mom would not make eye contact. "We need to talk about your college fund," Dad said. My stomach dropped, but I stayed calm. Before I tell you what happened next, drop a comment and let me know where you are watching from. Hit that like button and make sure to subscribe because what my family did next completely changed my life. You will not believe how everything turned out. This story shows that sometimes the worst betrayal becomes your greatest blessing. Stay with me. Dad took a deep breath and started explaining. Derek had what he called a once-in-a-lifetime business opportunity. My brother wanted to open a high-end fitness studio downtown. The kind with premium equipment, personal training, nutrition coaching, and a recovery lounge. He needed $50,000 to secure the lease and buy all the equipment. Professional athletes would train there, Derek claimed. It would be huge. Then Dad dropped it. "We gave him your college fund. He will pay it back with interest once the business takes off." I sat there, unable to process what I just heard. My brain felt like it stopped working. I looked at Derek. He stared at the carpet. I looked at Mom. Tears rolled down her face, but she said nothing. This could not be real. Maybe they were testing me somehow. Maybe this was a joke. "What about my tuition?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Classes start in 7 days." "You can take student loans like everyone else," Dad said. "Derek's opportunity cannot wait. The lease needs to be signed this week or someone else gets the space." Derek finally spoke up. "I will pay you back, little brother. I promise. This business is going to be huge. You will see." Dad nodded. "Family helps family, Nicholas. You are young. You have time to pay off loans. This is Derek's moment." That is when everything became clear. This was not a discussion. This was an announcement. They already gave away the money, probably days ago. They waited until the last possible minute to tell me. This was calculated. They knew if they told me earlier, I would have had time to figure something else out. They trapped me. I remembered being 10 years old. Dad showed me the college savings account statement. "This is your future son," he said back then. "We are investing in you." I believed him. For 8 years, I believed that promise. Now that memory felt like a complete lie. Derek kept talking, explaining his business plan in detail. The location was in the expensive part of downtown. High ceilings, lots of natural light, perfect for Instagram posts. He already had connections with local influencers who would promote it. The recovery lounge would have cold plunge tubs and infrared saunas. Memberships would be $200 per month. Corporate packages would bring in even more money. I listened to every word, but felt absolutely nothing inside. My mind had gone somewhere else, somewhere cold and calculating. "Okay," I said, standing up. Mom reached for my arm. "Nicholas, please understand. We are not saying no to you. We are just asking you to be flexible. Derek worked so hard on this plan." "It is fine," I said. "I understand perfectly." I walked back to my room and closed the door. Half-packed boxes surrounded me. The acceptance letter stared at me from the mirror. I sat on my bed and looked at my phone. Orientation started in 6 days. Even if I applied for emergency student loans right now, they would not process in time. The deadlines had passed. I calculated everything in my head. There was no way to make this work. I opened my laptop and withdrew my university acceptance. Then I searched for bus tickets. One way to Austin, Texas. I had $2,300 saved from my hardware store job. That money was supposed to cover books and supplies. Now it was my entire starting point for a new life. I packed only essential clothes, my laptop, and important documents like my birth certificate and Social Security card. Everything else stayed behind. The yearbooks, the basketball trophies, the photos of family vacations. None of it mattered anymore. I wrote a simple note on notebook paper. I am figuring it out on my own. Do not look for me. I left before sunrise. The house was dark and quiet. I walked 3 miles to the Greyhound station carrying one backpack. The bus pulled out at 6:15 a.m. I watched my hometown disappear through the window and felt nothing. My parents found the note at breakfast. I know because Derek texted me 3 hours later. "Dude, what are you doing? Come home, we can figure this out." I deleted the message. Dad called twice. Mom called 5 times. I blocked all their numbers. Derek sent one final text that I saw before blocking him. "You are being dramatic. You will cool off and come back. You need us." That last message sealed everything. He actually believed I would come crawling back. They all did. They thought I was too young, too scared, too dependent to make it alone. They were wrong. The bus took 18 hours to reach Austin. I arrived at the station with my backpack and no plan beyond surviving. I found a hostel that charged $25 per night. The room had 8 bunk beds crammed together. It smelled like old socks and cheap air freshener, but it was shelter. Every morning I woke up at 6 a.m. and walked to the public library when it opened at 9. Free Wi-Fi, free air conditioning. I applied to hundreds of jobs online. Fast food retail warehouses, anything. I spent hours filling out applications and customizing resumes, but I had no local address, no references, and no degree. The rejection emails piled up. I ate ramen noodles twice a day, sometimes just peanut butter sandwiches. I skipped meals when my money got low. By week 3 in Austin, I had $900 left. The panic started creeping in. What if I failed? What if I had to go back home and admit they were right? Then I met Marcus. I was sitting in a coffee shop making one small cup last 3 hours so I could use their Wi-Fi. Marcus sat down next to me and we started talking. He worked in tech sales for a software company. He mentioned they were hiring and no degree was required. Just personality and hustle. "You seem like someone who can talk to people," Marcus said. "You should apply." I interviewed the next day. The hiring manager asked about my situation. I told the truth. I left home with nothing and was rebuilding from scratch. She respected that. I started the following Monday as an entry-level sales development representative. Base salary $35,000 per year plus commission. I would be selling software to small businesses. I found a tiny studio apartment with 3 roommates. Technically, it was a 2-bedroom, but they converted the living room into a 3rd sleeping space. I got an air mattress on the floor. Rent was $450 per month. It was not much, but it was mine. My work routine became brutal. I woke up at 5 a.m. every day to study sales techniques on YouTube before my roommates got up. I practiced my pitch scripts out loud in the shower. I got to the office by 7:30 even though we did not start until 9. I made calls until 6 p.m., then stayed late to listen to recordings of my conversations and figure out what I did wrong. The first month, I made 0 sales. I lived entirely on my base salary, which after taxes was about $2,000 per month. Rent, food, bus pass, phone bill, everything was tight. I got discouraged. Some days I wanted to quit, but I refused to go back home. I would rather fail trying than succeed by crawling back to them. A senior rep named Jordan noticed I was struggling. He pulled me aside one afternoon. "Stop selling the product," he said. "Start solving their problems. Nobody cares about features. They care about their pain. Find the pain and offer the cure." That advice changed everything. I stopped reading from scripts. I started actually listening to potential customers. What were they struggling with? What kept them up at night? How could our software make their lives easier? I became a detective instead of a salesman. Month 2. I closed 3 deals. My commission check was $2,100. I stared at that direct deposit notification on my phone for 10 minutes straight. It was the first time since leaving home that I felt genuinely proud of myself. I was doing this. Actually doing this. Month 3. I closed 7 deals. Commission check was $4,800. My manager called me into her office and said I had natural talent. She asked about my background. I kept it brief. She said I had a future in sales if I wanted it. My parents kept trying to reach me through email since I blocked their numbers. I never opened the messages. Derek tried messaging me on social media. I deleted my accounts. I did not want any contact. But I was curious about one thing. I created a fake profile and followed Derek's gym on Instagram. The grand opening looked impressive. Shiny new equipment, floor-to-ceiling windows. Derek, standing in the middle wearing athletic gear arms, crossed big smile. Local fitness influencers posted about it. "This place is incredible," they wrote. The comments were full of fire emojis and congratulations. It looked like he made the right bet. That hurt more than I expected. What if they were right? What if Derek's business became wildly successful, and I was struggling in a cramped apartment sleeping on an air mattress? What if I was the fool, but I kept grinding? 6 months after leaving home, I was the top 3 sales rep on my team of 12 people. My manager promoted me to account executive. New base salary, $60,000 with a higher commission rate. I moved into my own studio apartment. Just me. No roommates. It was 400 square feet, but it had a real bed, a small kitchen, and a bathroom I did not have to share. I bought it all from thrift stores, but I did not care. It was mine. Nobody could take it away. I started making friends with coworkers, joined a recreational basketball league, started taking online business courses at night through free platforms. I learned about investing, read every personal finance book I could find from the library, opened an investment account, and started putting away money every month. Small amounts at first, $50, then $100, then more. Something shifted inside me during this time. I stopped being angry at my family. The rage that fueled me for months just faded away. I realized their betrayal actually freed me. If they had paid for college, I would have followed the safe path. State school engineering degree, decent job at some company, normal middle-class life. Nothing wrong with that. But I would never have discovered what I was truly capable of. Every sale I made felt like proof. Not proof to them, proof to myself. I could survive. I could thrive. I could build something from nothing. One night I ran into someone from my hometown at a bar. He recognized me and came over. We caught up briefly. He mentioned, "Your brother's gym is struggling. Heard they are barely covering rent. Lot of competition in that area." I just nodded and changed the subject. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no vindication. Just nothing. His failure or success had nothing to do with my life anymore. By month 10, I closed the biggest deal of my career. A growing tech company signed a $50,000 annual contract for our software. My commission was $7,500. At the company meeting, the CEO recognized me in front of everyone, shook my hand, called me a rising star. 2 weeks later, I got a message on LinkedIn from a recruiter, bigger tech company. They wanted to interview me for a senior account executive position. Base salary, $85,000 plus aggressive commission structure. I went through 4 rounds of interviews. They offered me the job. I accepted. A few days after accepting, I got an email from my mom. She found an old email address I forgot I had. Subject line: "Please read this." I hovered over the delete button. The preview showed, "Derek's business is closing." I deleted it without opening. Whatever was happening with them was not my concern anymore. 1 year to the day after I left home, I sat at my desk in my new office and looked at my bank statements. This quarter, I earned $32,000 in commission. Combined with my salary, my total income for the year would be approximately $115,000. I was 20 years old with no college degree. I did this myself. My life looked completely different now. I had a nice 1-bedroom apartment in downtown Austin with actual furniture I bought new. I drove a used Honda Civic that was 7 years old but paid off completely. My girlfriend Amanda worked in marketing at a startup. We met through mutual friends and had been dating for 4 months. Serious but not rushed. Healthy. I had a solid friend group. We played basketball twice a week, went to concerts, had barbecues, normal stuff. I went to the gym regularly, ate, well, took care of myself. I even started seeing a therapist every other week, paid for it myself, worked through a lot of the family stuff, learned healthy boundaries. I did not think about my family every day anymore. Sometimes a week would pass without them crossing my mind. I was focused on my own growth, my own future. I planned to eventually take online courses toward a degree, but on my terms, my timeline, no pressure, no debt. Then I got a LinkedIn message from Derek. "Hey man, can we talk? It is important." I stared at the message for 2 full days. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Part of me was curious. Finally, I responded, "What is up?" He asked if we could talk on the phone. I agreed. He called that evening. His voice sounded completely different. Hollow. Defeated. He did not waste time with small talk. "The gym failed," he said. "We closed last month." I said nothing, just listened. "We made it 10 months," Derek continued. "But we could not compete with the established chains. They had better equipment, better locations, bigger marketing budgets. Our lease was killing us. $3,000 per month for that space. We needed 40 members just to cover rent. We peaked at 32 members." He kept talking. The whole story spilled out. He lost all $50,000 of my college fund. Then Dad loaned him another $30,000 trying to save the business. That was gone too. Derek had to declare bankruptcy. He moved back home with our parents. Could not find decent work because the failed business destroyed his credit and professional reputation. I destroyed everything, Derek said. His voice cracked. Mom and Dad's retirement savings are gone. They have nothing. And I ruined your life too. I took your future. You did not ruin my life, I said quietly. Long silence. What do you mean? Derek asked. I am fine, better than fine, actually. Another long silence. Really? Really? 3 days later, my phone rang from an unknown number. I answered without thinking. Nicholas. It was Mom. She started crying immediately, full sobs. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. She apologized for 20 minutes straight, explained how guilty she felt every single day since I left, how she knew it was wrong from the beginning. She tried to argue with Dad, she said, tried to stop it. But Dad and Derek pressured her. Derek said it was a sure thing. Dad said I was stronger and would figure it out. They were both so confident. We chose wrong, Mom said through tears. We chose your brother, and we were wrong. We were so wrong. Can you ever forgive us? I am not angry anymore, I told her honestly. I am actually grateful it happened. Grateful. She sounded confused. It taught me I can only rely on myself. That is not a bad lesson. She asked if we could meet. All of them wanted to see me. Talk in person. I thought about saying no, but I agreed. They drove 6 hours to Austin the following Saturday. We met at a neutral coffee shop downtown. When they walked in, I barely recognized them. Dad looked 10 years older. Shoulders slumped. Gray hair I did not remember. Mom's face was puffy from crying. Derek looked broken, lost weight, dark circles under his eyes. We sat down. The conversation was awkward at first. They wanted to explain everything, every decision, every reason. I stopped them. You do not need to explain, I said. I understand. Derek needed help. You thought you were doing the right thing for the family. We destroyed your future, Dad said. His voice shook. No, I replied. You destroyed the future you imagined for me. I built my own. I showed them photos on my phone. My apartment, my office, my life. I told them about my income, not to brag. Just facts. They needed to know I was okay. Better than okay. They sat there shocked, proud, heartbroken. Mom kept crying. Dad stared at the table. Derek looked like he wanted to disappear. I will pay you back, Derek finally said. Somehow, eventually, even if it takes me 20 years. I do not want your money, I said. Derek looked confused. Keep it, I continued. Use whatever you earn to take care of Mom and Dad's retirement. Make that right. Dad started crying. First time I ever saw tears from him. Mom reached across the table and grabbed my hand. Derek put his head in his hands. We talked for another hour. About life, about choices, about consequences. It was not warm and fuzzy, but it was honest. Real. When we said goodbye, Mom hugged me tight. Dad shook my hand and could not let go. Derek just nodded. Words were too hard for him. I drove back to my apartment and sat on my balcony looking at the Austin skyline. The city lights stretched out forever. I thought about the journey. A year ago, I had nothing but anger and $2,000. Today, I had a career savings, a life I built completely myself. The betrayal hurt deeply back then, cut me to the core. But sitting there on my balcony, I felt something unexpected. Gratitude. Real gratitude. Without that push, would I have ever taken a risk? Would I have discovered this strength? Probably not. I would have taken the safe path. Comfortable, predictable, fine. Instead, I learned hunger. Real hunger. I learned resilience, self-reliance, I learned that security does not come from family money or safety nets. It comes from skills, work ethic, and the willingness to adapt when life breaks your plans. I still talk to my family occasionally. Text messages every few weeks. A phone call once a month. It is cordial but distant. I have boundaries now that I never had before. I respond when I feel like it. No obligation, no guilt. They do not get to be at the center of my life anymore. They chose that when they chose Derek's dream over my future. Derek is working retail now, living at home, paying off his debts slowly. We talk sometimes. It is fine. Not close, but not hostile either. I do not feel superior to him, just separate. We are on different paths now. 2 years after leaving home, I was making $160,000 annually. Got promoted to team lead, managing 5 people. Started taking online courses through Arizona State University. I will finish a business degree within 3 years. On my schedule. No debt. Amanda and I are still together. Serious now. Talking about the future. I bought a small condo last month. Nothing fancy, but it is mine. Fully mine. I have healthy savings. My investment portfolio grows steadily. I volunteer teaching sales skills to at-risk youth twice a month, helping them see opportunities beyond traditional paths, showing them what is possible when you bet on yourself. My philosophy now is simple. Security does not come from family money. It comes from what you build inside yourself. Skills nobody can take away. Confidence earned through real struggle. The knowledge that you can survive anything because you already have. Sometimes I think about that morning I left, the anger burning in my chest, the fear of the unknown, the hurt of betrayal. But mostly I think about what came after. The person I became, the life I created, the strength I found. When people betray you, you have 2 choices. Spend your energy on anger and revenge, or spend that same energy building something they cannot touch. I chose the second path. Best decision I ever made. My parents gave my college fund to my brother. My brother lost everything, but I found something more valuable. I found out exactly who I am and what I am capable of. That knowledge is worth more than any inheritance, more than any college fund, more than anything they could have given me. The worst thing that happened to me turned out to be the best thing that could have happened. I just could not see it at the time. Sometimes you need to lose everything to discover what you are really made of. Sometimes betrayal is not an ending. It is a beginning. Trust the journey. Trust yourself. The rest will follow. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had someone betray your trust in a major way? How did you handle it? Drop your story in the comments below. I read every single one. And if this story resonated with you at all, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, because I share more real-life stories like this every week. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that they can overcome anything. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps someone out there who feels stuck or betrayed right now. You are stronger than you think. Better days are coming. I promise.